Hi everyone, Mario Quintero here with the One Stop Shop for your weekly happy hour Facebook show, talking about real estate and mortgage topics. This week, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about different open line topics that various viewers and clients questions that they have sent me, and I'm going to respond to the questions here during the show today. So let's start off by the first question. Is what are attainable multi-income streams that will help you build growth and wealth? So basically my recommendations to a lot of our customers, and this is some of the stuff that I did myself over the years, is that you take your family income and you try to diversify that income, whether it's related to employment that you have, or whether it's self-employed income. You try to diversify that income and you try to build on that income. The first thing is to try to increase, if it's available, your 401k contributions so that you're building a nest egg. The next thing is to, while you're both earning income from your employment, is what a lot of people do, and that is to try to start your own small business to eventually transition from employment to self-employment. And just to give you an example, I started trying to build my self-employment at the age of 36. And I worked for 8 years, my regular job, while building my business for an 8-year period. And after 8 years, I felt comfortable enough to be able to make the transition into would be to try to accumulate some rental property income. And you could do that by possibly getting one condominium, let's say, that you could purchase and you rent out, and then you add the second one and the third one, and you could actually leverage the first one into the second one and leverage the second one into the third one. But once again, it takes discipline, and it takes sacrifice, and it takes persistence and focus to be able to do that. And that's how you are able to develop the multiple income streams, so that when you get to a certain age and you get hit with a situation like we had right now with this pandemic, and there's a loss of one income, at least you have the other multiple streams coming in. So it's a great defensive mechanism to have in place to protect your income, is to have the multiple streams. If you have additional questions regarding that, feel free to give me a call here in the office at 305-598-1600. And this is a topic that we have on a regular basis with a lot of our customers. Can you explain the 50 basis point penalty that was discussed a couple of weeks ago regarding Fannie and Freddie refinances? So a couple of weeks ago, we had that emergency situation in the middle of the day where they were going to immediately add a 0.5 percentage point penalty to those people refinancing, and nobody knew what was going on. And it seemed like a way for the federal government to slow down the amount of refinances. Well, over the last 2 weeks, there's been a lot of petitions that have been signed by the industry and a lot of different people from all over. And because of the pressure that was put on Fannie and Freddie, they now have decided to postpone that till January. So we got a reprieve, September, October, November, January. The pressure will continue to be on, and hopefully we'll get that removed before it gets off the ground. So that's where we're at right now. It's completely been postponed till January. What is the long-term view on interest rates? Well, the Fed spoke today, and they anticipate keeping the rates low, probably less than 3%, which is where we are right now, for rate and term refinances. cash outs are different things, investment properties are different animals, and also low down payment loans are also a little bit different. So it all depends on the program that you're applying for, but it looks like the long-term view is that rates are going to stay low for at least the next year and a half. This question has to do, if my home is the biggest asset that I want to leave to my kids, what is the best document that I could execute? So I want to disclose first that I'm not an attorney. However, I have this conversation a lot with different clients, and if the only asset or the major asset that you have to leave to your children is the home, here in the state of Florida, the best way to do that is through what is called an enhanced life estate deed. That document will avoid probate, and it can easily transfer the property here in the state of Florida to your heirs in different percentages. So if you have 4 heirs, 25% each. If you have 2 heirs, 50% each. And that document basically could run you about $500. And, at the time of passing of both parents, the children can take that document with the death certificate down to the county courthouse, and within 7 to 10 days, they avoid probate. They turn over the ownership of the property to the heirs, and then the heirs can decide to either keep the home, if there's a mortgage, refinance the mortgage, or if they want to use it as an income property, they can do that, or if they want to sell the home at that time, they can do that also. So the heirs will have the ultimate options at their disposal with avoiding an expensive and long drawn out probate, which usually right now are running about $7,000 to $8,000, and they're taking anywhere from 6 to 9 months to get finalized. So when does an estate planning attorney need to speak to a CPA? Well, our personal experience is that when you're drawing up extensive documents for estate planning, such as a trust or multiple trusts, and you're going to be funding that trust. And again, I'm not an attorney. I'm only speaking from my own personal knowledge and things that we've experienced. Okay, so when you're going to fund that trust with your assets, whether it's your primary residence, investment properties, bank accounts, brokerage accounts, any type of asset that you want to fall under that trust, it's very important that the estate planning attorney speak to your CPA and determine how your taxes are being written up year to year, the history behind it, because they will have to change possibly the way the shares of the stocks are issued for each of the businesses that are going to be funded under the trust. It's a complicated situation, but this question should really go to the estate planning attorney. But from personal experience, the CPA and the estate planning attorney need to be in discussions so that the shares that need to be executed for the trust that's going to be funded line up exactly with the way the accountant does the taxes on a year-by-year basis. So that avoids a lot of complications, and in the event of an audit, an IRS audit or something like that, everything will be done correctly. So that communications between the estate planning attorney and the CPA is very critical. The next question is, what do you see going on right now within the marketplace? So I can only really speak to what is happening with the transactions that we are working. And right now we see a lot of first-time home buyers. And in some of those cases, the parents are assisting with gifts for either down payment or closing costs to help their children get into their first home. So we see a lot of that going on. We're seeing a lot of second home buyers that currently have a home and they're buying condos near the beach or near the coastal areas, both here on the East Coast and the West Coast. We see a lot of that going on. We see a lot of people from the Northeast. We're talking to people from the Northeast that are leaving the Northeast and want to transition here. Some of them want to transition into a second home so that they can finalize later on their transition. Others are leaving immediately and want to come down and buy a home immediately. So we're seeing a lot of that. And then the last couple of ones are that we're still seeing the cash outs for people that want to do renovations. They want to stay in place right now longer than they anticipated. So they want to upgrade their kitchens, they want to upgrade their bathrooms, they want to put in the hurricane windows and hurricane doors. Those are the type of renovations that we're talking to our clients the most. And then the last one is the seniors who are more and more looking to refinance their existing reverse mortgage. They're looking to take a look at the lower rates on the reverse mortgages so that the cost of the interest accrual from month to month is less. Sometimes saving about $100 a month or $1,200 a year in accrued interest being added back into their balance. So these are a lot of the things that we're seeing, that we're talking to our clients about. But if you have any specific questions like these that I brought up today, feel free to give me a call here in the office at 305-598-1600 or on my cell phone, 305-588-0451. It's always a pleasure to be able to share with you some information each week. If you find value in the information you heard today, feel free to share this video to your friends on Facebook. And I look forward to seeing everyone next week. So have a great weekend and thanks for tuning in. Mario Quintero with the One Stop Shop, produced by MariosHomeNews.com. Make it a great day.